Hello everyone, and if you guys have noticed recently, you've probably noticed that I've changed editing style, and you could probably see that in the last video, and that is for very good reason. I have changed my editing software. And you can probably tell based on how much better the graphics, well not necessarily the graphics, but most likely how the VFX look, visual effects like the outro and the intro, those look much cleaner, as well as some of the in-between bits here and there. So you can clearly tell, I mean, I've put a lot more work into the video. So that begs the question, why did I make this change? And that is because I've switched from Camtasia, which has been my editing software for most of my life that I've used, I'd say from about 7 years old, to now using Davinci Resolve, which I finally learned how to use and got into that. But you might be wondering why I've made this change. This is something that is really drastic, you know, something that you have to relearn and all that. It takes a while to relearn editing software. So that is something important that I want to discuss, why I have fallen out with Camtasia and why I think that personally leaving it is a better decision than continuing to use it. So let's get right into this. So, first of all, sorry about the audio. I messed it up in OBS, but it should be fixed now. All good. But this is what I'm switching from. This is TechSmith Camtasia. I'm currently using Camtasia 2019, and I will show you why I'm not using Camtasia 2023. Because I absolutely despise what TechSmith is doing. So, let me show you what you can do with text, since that's really what my main issue here is. So, we have text here. You can adjust the size with this bar, alright? But it maxes out at 256, and that's where it gets annoying, because type 1000, it can only be between 1 and 500, so that's already an issue. And this is 500, it doesn't really cover much. Then you also have scale, which you can use, but it also degrades the quality. It's not like it treats the text like a vector, so that is annoying. The one handy thing though that I've used sometimes is the rotation thing, and unlike my current editing software, which I'll show you later, you cannot click and drag side to side to change the number. You have to manually input it or use these little knobs here. This is the Z-axis. The Y-axis is really handy, so is the X-axis. These are cool for making animations, and I'll show you that. That's also an important issue I have. Transitions. The transitions here are terrible, in my opinion. I've only really used fade through black, fold maybe once ever. I haven't used many of these. I've used the whip spin a lot, but it gets really glitchy between footage. Glow for my older outros, you've seen that probably. Barn door, almost never. I barely use any of these because a lot of them just don't work out. They're not very good transitions. Behaviors though, behaviors are very interesting. They're like pre-made animations, except they're not animations. So let me just show you how this works. So I'm just throwing on the drifting behavior here, alright? So it'll do this. You've probably seen this effect in a bunch of other videos, and now you know why. It's because they use Camtasia. And personally, I'm not a fan of this, because who's going to need to go up and down, and then also come in like this? Now, you have seen me use this for outros, because I've done the bounce-in thing. Except, I changed this to be spring, changed the tension to be full. And you have a natural falling animation. That's like the one thing that the one thing that is well done about behaviors. That you can do stuff like this, but the during, I don't recommend any of this. None of this really works. Unless I'm doing like a subscribe animation, then the pulsate makes sense, but it doesn't work out for text very well. So behaviors are interesting. Fonts. The font selection is terrible. It's just all the default Windows fonts, and they don't import from Adobe or any other font stuff on your computer, so they don't take take over OTFs or any of the new Google fonts for that matter. So see, look, this is an Adobe font I have, and I'm guessing that just now there's compatibility, because normally there's no compatibility for this. Like, okay, Comic Sans works. Yeah, see, look, like this handwriting font, this just doesn't work at all. Yeah, a lot of these fonts don't carry over from Adobe. Like, this is a default font. Impacts, and sometimes when you do an italic font, it just never carries over. So if I want to make this italics, like, it's giving me the option, but I can't do it. Or make this bold either. I can't do that either. So now let me get to the main issue I have. Animations. This is the one thing holding me back when it comes to editing software. Camtasia does not have very good animations. So if I want to do a custom animation here, first of all, you have to define a start point and an end point. There's no keyframing on Camtasia. There's no keyframe button that you can use in Camtasia 2019. Which means that you're just gonna have to pick a start point, put it where it goes, start point, and then put it at the end point, and then play it. Oh yeah, I need to remove the that so you can see it better. Alright. So as you can see, text moves like this. And this is something I absolutely hate about the text. It does an in and out thing, if you know what that means. Where it basically goes, starts at the bottom, slowly slopes up, and then slows back down again, instead of going from point to point, like how I expect it to. So that means that whenever I want to do like a scrolling animation like I do for my public subs, like see, look at that, you can kind of see it now. Instead of going from point to point, it slows down at the start and beginning and goes really fast in the middle, which I think is kind of annoying, because I can't get what I need out of it. So like if I want to do a scrolling animation from top to bottom, and I put this on top, I put the starting point of the animation here, and the ending point at the bottom, I play it, you can see that it speeds up and then it suddenly slows down again, instead of going straight from top to bottom. That's a primary issue I have. How many useful icons does Camtasia 2019 have? It has houses, apartments, it even has a lighthouse. Business has a bunch of charts and graphics, all that, pie chart. Education has all these funny pictures. Insurance, it has a whole section for just insurance. And in it is the start button and a web player. So that is interesting. People has just a bunch of people. Social media. No, keep in mind, none of this has a subscribe button, which is what most people that don't use this for work use Camtasia for. It doesn't even have a subscribe button. And then universal, just the remaining intros. Okay, here's gonna be my showtime, because I actually used to use this intro. If you remember from like my first video, this was my intro. And honestly, looking back on it now, it's not that good. But I could see how, if you were lazy, this would be a good intro. As well as this one. This was, I think, the outro as well. This one. Yeah, I think this was the outro. But that was it. And then spinning computer is one of the funniest ones in my opinion. It's just a spinning computer that opens up the intro. Now, you may be wondering why I'm even complaining about all of this in the first place, because, hey, look, it's just an editing software, it doesn't really matter too much. Until I tell you the price tag for Camtasia 2023, because when I got Camtasia 2019, it was not the price it currently is at. And the price is Actually, I'll leave that as a surprise for now. Let's go through the features of Camtasia 2023. Background removal. I can already do that with Photoshop or remove.bg. Canvas rulers, not necessary. All of this, you can already technically do. Neon cursor pack. This is completely unnecessary. I mean, this could be like DLC, downloadable content, if you could put it that way. You don't need this in the software. Now, I'm going to show you the price tag, and you're going to wonder why I even have this in the first place. Oh boy. Alright, this is the lovely homepage. Alright, yes. Okay, interesting. Individual subscription, $179.88 for subscription. That's $180 for yourself. And a perpetual license, $300 to keep this for yourself forever. Ridiculous. And it doesn't even include upgrading, which I'll talk about, because you have to upgrade to the next update and you have to pay money for that. I think that's insane. And how many licenses? Up to 2 for 1 person. Ridiculous. I mean, yeah, you're literally copying Adobe here. No. They don't even support the Adobe file, or not the Adobe, the OBS file format, which is MKV, which is ridiculous. Why don't you support MKV? So that I can put my OBS recordings into Camtasia. That's another reason why I switched. Because I can't put OBS recordings in here. I have to switch it to MP4. MP3, M4A, and Wave. And then they support PowerPoints. They support PowerPoints, but they don't support MKV. System requirements, blah 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 blah. I think this is that's fine. And let's go to the upgrade page. Alright. You upgrade for $162. Which I think is absurd. $162 to just upgrade. And pricing is, yeah, basically this. And then you can also get Audiate, apparently, which I have no clue about. Just $329.87. So, no idea how this works at all. How this makes any sense remotely. But, yeah, that's how it is. Alright. And now, I'm going to show you what Camtasia 2019 was worth back then. I'm on the Wayback Machine, alright? This is Camtasia's website in March of 2019. Alright, this is what it looks like. Download free trial, etc, etc. Alright. So, pricing. Alright, let's look at this. Single user license, perpetual, $249. Still pretty expensive, but it's still cheaper than what we have for a perpetual license. And upgrade is also cheaper as well. Also has volume pricing, which means it's flexible depending on the volume you're buying it at. So compare that to currently with an individual subscription being $179, perpetual being $300. And you still have to upgrade as well, which I think is ridiculous for the price that you're paying for this. So overall, I think it's just absurd that you're even paying for this when I will show you the alternative, which I think is genuinely better.